loser, and that's a really big deal. Jesus pretty much changed everything when he died on the cross and then came back to life. It's like he turned the whole world upside down. He gave us the great example of humility. Our life app for this month is humility is putting others first by giving up what you think you deserve. Having humility or being humble is kind of an upside down way to live. It's a lot more common to put yourself first. But Jesus came and flipped that whole notion on its head. Flipped it right around. He showed us what it looks like to put others first. He came to serve and not to be served. Speaking of flipping, I know you all know what to do with this. So before we get started, do you guys want to play a game? Go grab your water bottles and let's have a bottle flipping competition. I actually have a friend that's here to help me, so that way it's a real competition. All right, Rexy, are you ready? Say hi to the boys and girls. We have 60 seconds to see who can land their bottle the most. On your mark, get set, go! And you guys can pause later and you guys can play it again. We're going to get to learn a lot more about our theme for the month. But first, we're going to get to worship together, watch the So-and-So show, and dive into God's Word just like we do every week. So if you're ready, let's worship Jesus together. Woo!
What's it like to feel humbled? Oh, that's not a word we use every day, but it's humbling when you receive a gift you didn't expect. It's humbling when someone says you don't have to pay even though you messed up. It's humbling when your dad takes an entire day off of work just to spend it with you. It's humbling when you see an incredible sunset and realize that God handcrafted it with you in mind. Wow. Being humbled makes you feel small in a good way. It makes you feel grateful. When someone chooses to put you first like that, it can make your day. So why not do that for the people around you? You can choose to give up what you think you deserve to put others first. Let your sister pick the family movie even though it's your turn. Skip the pool party so you can hang out with your friend who broke his leg and can't go. Use some of your birthday money to help a family who doesn't have enough to eat. True humility is thinking of yourself less and others more. When you live your life with humility, you bring praise to God. You lift Him high because others can see God at work in you. That's why humility is an amazing way to worship God with your life. Because worship is about more than just singing loud. It's all about living loud.
Everywhere that I go, you're there with me. Even in the night when I cannot see, I know you're by my side and I will be just fine. Oh God, you're always good to me. I wanna say
Thank you.
Yep. Hello, so-and-so friends.
Hey to you and all of our viewers.
From near
and far.
welcome to the So-and-so Show.
I'm John.
And I'm Brandon.
And we have got a show for you today.
That we do. Why don't you tell them about it, John?
Oh, no, my friend, after you.
I insist.
No,
After you.
no, I insist after you. It's time to play a game we call After You!
And now for everyone's favorite game show, After You.
This is a game that requires humility, where you want to put the other person first. So, after you.
What am I supposed to do?
We're going to balance a cup of water on a book, on our heads.
Okay.
Water balancing.
After you, yes!
Holding your breath in a bucket of water.
After you!
Standing on a box while being hit with a palm frond.
After you. After you. After you. After you.
Nope.
Whoa, whoa.
Keeping a grape in your mouth.
What does it have to do with humility?
What?
I said, what does this have
Oh! After you!
Thanks for playing After You.
What a great game.
Was it?
Yeah, I'm so much more humble than you. I put you first every
You
time.
did not put me first.
Sure I did.
No, you did not.
Sure I did. You were the first to drop the water, the first to choke on a grape. I put you first in the game, which makes me first in putting you first. Wait a minute. Maybe I should have put you first by telling you to put me first. But if you put me first, because I let you put me first, I'd still be first at putting you first, which means, oh! It was you who were putting me first all along. Well played, Brandon. Well played.
Uh-huh. It's Bible story time with Kellen.
What's up, guys?
Not too much, Kellen. Just being soups humble.
Oh, yeah? Well, then I've got a story for you.
After you, Kellen.
No. I'm humble.
Thank you. Our story picks up just after Jesus shared what he knew would be his last supper with his disciples. His heart was very heavy, so Jesus led his disciples outside to a place called Gethsemane, a kind of garden with olive trees. And Jesus asked Peter, John, and James to keep watch so he could pray. The disciples sat and waited, tired after a full meal, while Jesus went off by himself to pray to God. It was not a happy prayer. Something very bad was going to happen to Jesus that night, and he knew it. He was so sad, so anxious, and he prayed to his Father in heaven with all his might.
My Father, if it is possible, take this cup of suffering away from me. But let what you want be done, not what I want.
He prayed this way for what felt like an hour. But when he returned to his friends, he found them sound asleep.
Couldn't you keep watch with me for 1 hour? Watch and pray. Then you won't fall into sin when you are tempted. The spirit is willing, but the body is weak.
3 times, Jesus asked his disciples to stay awake while he prayed, and each time, his friends fell asleep. And then it happened.
Are you still sleeping? Look, the hour has come. The Son of Man is about to be handed over to sinners. Get up. Let us go. Here comes the one who is handing me over to them.
The disciples watched horrified as Judas, one of their friends, came up to Jesus, followed by a large crowd armed with clubs and swords.
Greetings, Rabbi.
Friend, do what you came to do.
Judas went to Jesus at once and kissed him. This was Judas' signal to the armed men that Jesus was the one they should arrest. When they saw the signal, they grabbed Jesus. That's when Peter leapt into action. Peter took out a sword and lifted it. He swung the sword at the servant of the high priest and cut off his right ear.
Yeah. Go, Peter.
Woo! Yes! And then Jesus' disciples fought off the armed men and brought Jesus safely back home. Thanks for the story, Kellen.
Yeah.
Actually, that's not exactly what happened.
Oh, don't ruin this happy ending for me, Kellen.
So Peter cut off the servant's ear. But then, before things got completely out of hand, Jesus spoke out to the angry crowd.
Put your sword back in its place. All who use the sword will die by the sword. Do you think I can't ask my Father for help? He would send an army of angels right away. But then, how would the scriptures come true? They say it must happen in this way.
Then Jesus touched the man's ear and healed him. But Jesus' disciples, his friends, ran, leaving Jesus alone. He was arrested and taken away. To be continued.
That's not happy at all.
I know, but that's what happened. In fact, things got even worse after that.
Worse?
I don't get why Jesus was arrested in the first place. He didn't do anything wrong.
True.
And if he could have called an army of angels to save the day, why didn't he do that?
Well, it's like what Jesus said when he was praying. He told God, "Let what you want be done, not what I want." Sure, he didn't deserve to be arrested. And sure, he could have easily done something miraculous to save himself. But Jesus knew that God had a bigger plan, so he put God first. And really, by putting God first, he was putting us first, because we were the reason God sent Jesus in the first place.
Oh, so it is a happy ending?
You'll have to wait until next time to find out.
Ah, rats!
Or, you could ask somebody how it ends, or read it in the Bible. It's a very famous story.
Great idea, Kellen. Thank you for the story.
Yeah, thanks.
No problemo. I'll see you guys later.
Later. Okay, so now we know where to turn to find out how to put others first.
Yeah, the After You game!
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, right. Jesus!
Jesus put his friends first, even though they fell asleep when they should have been keeping watch.
His enemies, too. He actually healed one of the guys who came to arrest him.
He put everyone first, which brings me to a question.
Oh, reveal the question!
How do you put others first?
By letting them order before me at a restaurant.
Oh, yeah, or by watching what someone else wants to watch on TV.
See, that's why you sat through 14 hours of baking shows with me last week.
Yeah, and I still don't know what fondant is.
You know what? You win, friend. You win, my friend. You are definitely the most humble person
Not
alive.
a competition.
Well, you're number one.
No.
You're number one. You're number one. No. You're putting me first, so I'm number one. No, you're number two. You're number two.
Talk about it together.
You're number two.
How do you put others first? And we'll see you next time on the So-and-So Show. Can we go now?
Oh, after you.
Okay.
See? Now I'm number two. I'm number two. I'm number two. Wait. Ancient Romans used to use grapes as earplugs.
I can't hear you. I've got a grape in my ear.
I have a grape in my ear. I can't hear you. Do you know what they used to use grapes for as well? Like so. When they swim. Oh, you knocked one of my. I can hear.
Jesus had chosen a path of humility that would bring life for everyone, but one that would cost him everything. When he was praying in the garden, he prayed to God and asked for this whole thing to be skipped. He asked if it could just all go away. But in the end, Jesus gave up what he wanted for the sake of God's bigger plan. He chose to put us first when he allowed himself to be arrested, and eventually when he died on the cross to take the punishment for our sins. Sometimes we're like this balloon. We think that we're better than other people, that we're smarter than our friends in our class, or maybe that we're the best singer. Sooner or later, if we think that we're all puffed up by thinking we're better than other people, something will happen to burst our balloon. Jesus gave us the ultimate example of humility. He put us first. And you and I can choose to follow his example today and not be all puffed up and think that we're better than others. That's why our bottom line for today is simple but powerful. Put others first. That means putting someone else's needs above your own. It means giving someone else what they want, not demanding that you get what you want. It's not easy, but with God's help, we can choose to put others first. Here are some things I want you to do together as a family. So get your pens and paper out and jot a few things down. First, go over the power verse for today. It's a new month, so make sure you jot it down because we'll have a power verse challenge coming up in a few weeks. Don't do anything only to get ahead. Don't do it because you're proud. Instead, be humble. Value others more than yourselves. Philippians 2:3. Now, discuss this question. When is a time that you had to put someone else's needs above your own and it wasn't easy? Remember, we should treat others the way that we want to be treated. Spend the next few moments before going over these questions praying together while the worship music plays. I love you guys, and I'll see you next week.